Starting your first internship in public accounting can be really intimidating. So I just want to give 5 tips for your first accounting internship. And I know especially if you're doing your first internship in public accounting during busy season, there may be a lot of things already running through your mind even before the internship started. I know it did for me whenever I was first interning. So I just want to give 5 tips that can help you out this coming busy season and things you can start implementing to give you the best chance of success. So just a little background, I do currently work in public accounting. I'm an experienced associate. I've been working about 9 months full time and I interned with the company I'm at currently a year prior. So this is just some of the stuff that worked whenever I was interning, and I'm just going to share that with you. So let's get on to the first one. So tip 1, show up prepared. So brush up on Excel and accounting basics. Now, I will caveat this. Know your accounting basics, but don't expect to be for them to think you need to know everything. They really handhold you a lot, at least in my experience with my internship, where they don't expect you to know much of anything. As long as you know the accounting fundamentals, you're going to be okay, because any questions you have on more complex issues, there's going to be a manager, there's going to be a senior that's done it before that's going to be able to explain it to you. So I wouldn't even worry too much about that. But brushing up on Excel does help. So if you can just play around with Excel and get a little better at it, that's just going to make you work more efficiently, get more done, provide more value. So you obviously want to focus on that. One thing I really recommend you do, go ahead and start finding one thing you're doing in Excel and find out how to do it with a hotkey. And then just for that full week, anytime you're going to do anything in Excel and you need to do that, only use a hotkey. And just do that every week. Just add in another one. And eventually you're going to figure out the ones that are actually useful and the ones that aren't useful. I can say right now, for the most part, the ones you're going to want to know, just holding control and moving around with the arrow keys. It's a very simple one, but it's just going to help you jump around the spreadsheet a lot faster. If you're holding control down, it will just jump to the very end. So use that for navigating work papers. If you hold shift, you can highlight other cells. So let's say you need to highlight a bunch of rows. Like, let's say you have a row starting all the way at 1 and it's going down to like 300 or something. Instead of just clicking and selecting all the way, that's going to take forever. No, hold control, hold shift at the top, down arrow. It's going to highlight all the cells for you. So different things like that. Also, if you press the Alt button while you're in Excel, you'll notice it's going to bring up a bunch of different numbers on the top of the little tool taskbar area. And you can also look through that, and that's how you can figure out other hotkeys. So just paying attention to that and just really make sure, again, not too big a deal. You're going to be doing so much in Excel that you'll pick it up anyways, but just making sure you figure out what are the very helpful ones. And I just write them down on a little sticky note or maybe in a little notebook, and just keep that in mind and just try to make an effort to use them, because it's going to pay off a lot long term if you just get more and more comfortable with those shortcuts. Now, the next one is invest in tools like an extra monitor or a tin key. So I have one right here with me, and this is the one I actually got during my internship. I still use the same tin key. But sometimes you're going to be working on client site. If you're in office, it's not a problem. You got the keyboard, you got external monitors, that's fine. But there are going to be days when you're going to be either working from home or you're going to be on a client site. So having that extra monitor and the tin key is going to be very helpful, because for obviously the tin key, just entering information, but trying to do work on one monitor in anything public accounting is really terrible. You need at least 2. If you don't have at least 2, you are going to work so inefficient. I've never seen somebody be able to work efficient on one screen. So I recommend just going on Amazon, find one of those portable monitors. That's what I did. Just went on Amazon, little portable monitor, and it had a little case that kind of folded, and I could just put it on the side, plug it directly into my computer. Now I got another screen if I'm on client site. And for home, you can get a cheap monitor as well, just at Best Buy or Walmart. Just a cheap little computer monitor if you don't have one. So when you're working from home, you can just plug in your laptop and now you have a second screen. So make sure you do that. You can find decent deals. I think I got my extra monitor that I still use to this day for maybe $100. And you can definitely find cheaper. Facebook Marketplace if you need to find it even cheaper than that, but that's going to pay off. Also, mouse. They sometimes have mouse they let you use, but I personally like having my own mouse, and if I'm on client side, I rather use a mouse than the touchpad on the laptop. That one's not needed, but I do like to have it. So just throwing that in. Next one, taking notes consistently. There's going to be a lot of information they are going to throw at you, especially whenever they give you task lists when you first get there. You are going to be overloaded. So you need to write down as much as you can. And I recommend, what I started doing is now I just keep a OneNote on my computer, and anytime I'm given tasks, I just start writing it down in there. My handwriting is very bad. So I find if I put it there, it's going to be more organized and I can keep track of it. I can also very easily on OneNote kind of separate everything into sections. So I can make a little tab right here. This is going to be for this client. This one's for this client. I can make little pages in there. This is a to-do list. These are questions I have. This is for this section. Yada, yada, you get it. But for example, when I first started interning, I remember having like a 45-minute call with the manager and the senior on the job at the time. And he was going through all this stuff that needed to be done. And I was trying to take notes, trying to keep up. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, because I was getting overloaded with information. But luckily, I did have that senior that I could reach out and like, hey, did you pick up any of that? Or like, how much did you pick up? And he was able to help me out there. But yes, just make sure you write down as much as you can. And obviously have that open mind. Now, the next one, asking smart questions. First off, never be afraid to ask anything. As an intern, like I said earlier, nobody expects you to know anything. They expect you to have questions. A lot of these concepts, you may have barely touched on them in your accounting class in the university, but they are very different in the real world. It's often not as simple. In the way I always describe it, in the classroom, everything is very neat in terms of anytime you're doing a question or anything. It's always the numbers they're using, they're always very clean, very perfect for the classroom. That's not how it works in the real world. A lot of companies' books are very messy. Often sometimes they have to do big cleanups just to make sure the TB's in order for us to use that for our testing. So don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't understand how a process works. If you don't understand what you're doing, if they tell you, hey, I need you to do, like, let's say I want you to do this bank reconciliation, or you're doing cash testing, you need to redo the bank reconciliation. And you've never done a bank reconciliation. You don't even know why you're doing it. Ask and have someone explain it to you. And this is just going to help you, and actually listen to their response. Don't just get the process of it and kind of write down the how to do it and just do it to just get it done. Really try to understand why it's being done. Like with the bank reconciliation, well, we want to make sure that the cash balances with the books and the bank are lining up, right? So understand the concept of why and ask questions, have that explained so you know how the process works. And that's just going to help you so much going forward. It's going to pay so much dividends. And then also, like I said over here on the last one, it shows engagement. Just if you're actually asking questions and actively trying to understand the processes, the company is going to like that. It's going to show that you're making an effort. And that's really what they want to see. It's mostly a trial period. Now, tip 4, be proactive. If you finish your work, be reaching out to your senior or your manager on the job and just say, hey, is there anything else I can help with? Something I can help roll over? There's going to be something that can find you. Especially during busy season. There is so much work. Everyone is so overworked. If you just reach out, there's going to be someone where like, oh, thank God, I can give them this. And it may be very simple documents to give you. Like a lot when I was interning, they were just having me roll over some questionnaires. They were like very easy things where I was basically taking information from prior year and putting the same exact thing. But it's like tedious work, but it has to get done. It's very simple. And by you just getting that out of the way, that lets the manager, the senior work on more important sections or sections that have higher priority. And it's just something you take off their plate, and they're going to really appreciate that. So make that initiative to ask. Now, also, you are likely going to be getting overtime pay. At least I know all the big four, the company I work for too, for the interns. So definitely make use of that. The more you make yourself available and you keep asking for more tasks, they're going to be fine with giving you overtime hours and getting your help. And you're going to be making really good money, at least from what I know the average industry for the interns are paying right now. You're going to be making decent money. A lot of the time when I was interning personally, I can tell you I was 34 an hour, and then so on my OT pay, I was making 51 in overtime pay. So you can make really good money in a short amount of time in this internship. So I really think that you should just, while you're in this, buckle down, try to get as much work as you can. Try to work efficiently, because there's always going to be more work. Don't try to stretch out your work. Work efficiently. And most of the time, they're going to reward you and say, hey, do you want more work? They're going to ask you. And if you want to, I recommend you take it. Get that overtime pay while you can. It's going to be very helpful. So make sure you take advantage of that. Now 5, network and build relationships. There's often going to be company events during busy season. There's going to be volunteer opportunities. Sometimes there's campus recruiting you can even attend. I recommend go to all of these. They're usually fun events anyways. You're going to be able to hang out with your coworkers, talk to your coworkers. They're very laid back. But you can also network and you can show you're involved. So do that. It's just going to help give you more remembrance and put you out there more. Make sure you talk to your team. Don't be the person that just kind of shows up and just sits in the corner or just never talks to their team, asks for work. Try to conversate with them. You're going to be spending a lot of hours with them, especially if you're doing OT. Whenever I was working on one of the clients where I was getting a lot of OT when I was interning, we were in the same room from like 9 to 9. And so yeah, you're spending a lot of time with these people, so at least try to make it enjoyable. It makes the hours pass quicker too. And if you do good with them when you're interning, often they're going to ask you to come back whenever you do return, when you get that full-time offer. That's what happened with me. I was working with this one manager. That one I was actually working 9 to 9. And him and the partner, they liked my work ethic. They liked the work I was producing. So whenever I came back a year later, pretty much all my jobs were their jobs. I was with the same manager through almost all of busy season, which I personally enjoyed because he is a really good manager. And not only that, because I'm with the same manager, I kind of already know the expectations with him. I don't have to learn, because some other managers will have different expectations of maybe like what they expect you to do or communication. I already know everything with him because I work with him so much. And he really is a great manager. So just, you want to build that now because it could help you a lot in the future. Now, getting to the final, just a conclusion. Again, nobody expects you to know anything. Take advantage of that. Ask as many questions as you can. So, something also, you can try to figure out the answer on your own as well. I recommend that. Try to understand it. And then, of course, if you're spending too much time, don't spin your wheels. Don't get stuck just doing that over and over and just getting stuck for 4 hours on the same thing because you don't know. If it's taking you that long, yeah, just reach out and ask somebody. And you want to focus on learning, like I said, asking those questions for learning and trying to actually understand the process. And you really want to understand it now because this is going to help when you eventually do take your CPA exam. It's going to be great. And also just use it as a test of how you enjoy public accounting. Public accounting isn't for everybody. This, as much as it's the trial period for the company, with you, it's your trial period with the company. If that makes sense. Or do you enjoy working for this company? Is this really what you want to do? Maybe you find you don't like it. Like, okay, maybe I want to go do something in industry. And that's completely fine. If you have a different path you want to take, that's 100% fine. Nothing wrong with that. And you just got to really find out, do you enjoy doing this? Are you fine doing this? Is this what you want to do? And then you should be good. At least you know now. So those are my 5 tips I have. And again, the main thing I have, just having that openness to learn, that openness, willingness to learn is the main thing. Just actually putting in the effort. They will notice it and you'll be fine. So do that. And also with the trying things yourself, just also know the way that audits are typically set up in public accounting, you're not going to be able to screw anything up that can't be fixed. So don't worry about that. If you think if you're worried to maybe fill out something because you think you might make a mistake, it's okay. They go through so many review processes. It's like 3 or 4 reviewers. After you're done preparing something, it's going to go through one reviewer. Sometimes there's another detailed reviewer. There's another reviewer, and then a partner has to sign off, all for this document to be good and actually good in the file. So even if you mess up, they're just going to leave you a comment on the file and just go up, fix whatever complaints they had on it, and you're fine. They expect it. Everyone gets review comments. So don't be afraid of failing. Do your best on that. Make sure you get your 9 key. Make sure you get your external monitor. And honestly, you'll be fine. Don't stress about it too much. Just have fun with it. Make it a good experience. And I know it'll be great.